10 members of the province's anti-gang unit have been denied bail in connection with the murder of alleged former gang member Wade Price. They also face charges of assault, kidnapping and torture. The union, the South African Policing Union, SAPU, has expressed disappointment with the court's decision, arguing that officers are not a flight risk and should be released. The case has reignited debate around police accountability, the pressures faced by specialised units and the balance the justice system must strike. We're now joined by SAPU National Spokesperson Lesiba Thobakgale. Lesiba, Merry Christmas and thank you so much for speaking to us. Now, you argue that your members should be released. You say your SAPU is disappointed. What, in your view, was the court's fundamental error in denying these 10 members bail?
Thank you, Hugo, for having us. Merry Christmas to you and to your viewers. Indeed, we are disappointed by the fact that the court did not grant the members bail. I think we need to look at what is the purpose of an arrest. A purpose of an arrest, it is to bring the accused before the court. You could bring them through an arrest, you could bring them through a warning. It is not necessarily through an arrest, but in this case, they were arrested. And when we look at our police officers in this regard, I mean, they are working for the state. There is no way where there could be a flight risk where, you know, the courts could say maybe they may fled and do this and that, because their pensions are there within government through government employee pensions fund. Their addresses are known to the state since they work for the state. There is no way they could be categorized as flight risk. And looking as well to say that they are police officers, they understand, you know, how the law works. They would not interfere with any witnesses in this regard. So we really find it unreasonable in this regard to say, how could the court then decide to say they should not get bail? I mean, we're talking about members who are dealing with gangsterism within the province of the Western Cape, and clearly them being taken to Portsmouth prison in this regard. It really means that they are there faced with some of the people that they have taken into custody in this regard based on the types of crimes which could be gang related. So that is also putting them even more at risk in this regard. So we are saying that it was unreasonable in this regard for the court not to grant them bail. That is why our legal team, it is busy looking at how do we move forward, and we are even intending indeed to go and appeal that decision at the High Court so that those members can be released.
Lesiba, there are a number of issues that result in individuals not being granted bail. And one of those reasons is the possibility of interference with witnesses, right? Now, you speak about these officers being members of the law and being familiar with the law and all too familiar, obviously, with the processes around intimidation, right? Now, the charges that they face are assault, kidnapping and torture, which are serious charges. So aside from your position, which is they should be granted bail, let's focus on those two issues. Firstly, what is your reaction to the nature of charges that these 10 individuals are being charged with? And then also the possibility that there is intimidation of state witnesses that potentially could be at play.
No, we clearly take note of the seriousness of the charges, but remember, we subscribe to a principle that everyone is innocent up until proven guilty. Members should not be judged before they could indeed be in trial, and indeed their fate, it can be seen out of the outcome of the trial in this regard, like it applies to everyone else in this regard. So the conclusion thereof to say maybe they could interfere and so on, it is far-fetched. Like we are saying that these are police officers, there is no way that they could go and interfere with witnesses in this regard. That is why we are saying
But Lesiba, sorry, allow me to come in there. I mean, you talk about there's no way they would interfere, but they're accused, right, of brutal charges. I mean, you're talking about assault, right? You're talking about kidnapping and torture. These allegations are not about manhandling or pushing or shoving, right? These are deliberate acts that they're accused of, where they have taken individuals or a person against his will, hidden him, and tortured him. So this is the nature of the allegations. And it seems to be lightly construed that with these allegations, you should come in and literally walk out. The state would argue that they are looking to protect the individuals in and around this, because the allegations are of intimidation, of torture. They are serious allegations.
Hugo, it's good that you are saying they're accused. It hasn't been proven anywhere that they have interfered with any witness in this regard. And that cannot just be taken on a face value to say they may interfere with witnesses if that has not happened. That is why our standpoint, it remains to be, as law enforcement officers, they understand how investigations go and they understand what are repercussions of interfering with witnesses. That has not happened. They are just being accused out of those charges that are labeled against them as they've been arrested. So nothing of such nature is conclusive to say such interference has been seen or that it could come by with this regard. So they should be treated fairly, like every accused who gets to be treated fairly when they get arrested and then they appear before the courts. The very same principle should apply to them. It should not, they should not be treated differently because they are police officers, and because they know better in regards to what we are saying, that what interference could mean, what implications it could have on them when the case goes forward. So it is just allegations that are labeled, which are still standing to be proven by the court.
Thobakgale. And before the break, Lesiba, you were talking about how important it is for these individuals who aren't guilty at the moment should be charged. So in that conversation, some of the issues that Lesiba was speaking about certainly was issues around they have not at this point been found guilty of the crime that is being talked about. What we do know is that Wade Price, a former gang member, was in fact died under mysterious circumstances. Charges of murder and torture have been brought against the 10. Lesiba, thank you so much for joining us. Now, just going back now, IPID's investigation points to unnatural causes on the death of Wade Price. Now, given the serious charges of murder and torture, why should the public trust that bail is appropriate in this instance?
Yeah, I think we must be clear that as SAPU, we condemn any act of criminality, whether by police officers or by anyone, being the members of public. I think that should be clear in this regard. And our issue, it is based on the issue of bail, to say members should receive bail and then they come back to court whilst they are outside to account to those type of charges that are labeled against them. And yes, IPID, it has a responsibility to investigate the police actions in this regard, as they are empowered by the law to be the ones that are investigating police officers. And I mean, their investigations will be the ones that clearly would outline in terms of what is it that they had found, and also moving forward, what steps internally should be taken, because IPID, it plays also that critical role when it comes to recommendations, when it comes to the internal disciplinary proceedings in this regard. But where we are here, we haven't went into the merits of the case. I think we must be clear about it, to say what we are arguing here as SAPU. We are arguing that there's allegations against members. We condemn any form of criminality, but members must receive bail. That is what we are talking about.
Now, in light of this case, and our final question, what is your message to other police officers on the front line during this festive period?
We wish them well. We really take note of their sacrifice, the law enforcement officers at large, starting from SAPS, DCS, Border Management Authority, traffic, our private security. We know that they are working 24/7, and we really salute them as SAPU for their sacrifice, because they are sacrificing their time with their families to go and make sure that the inhabitants of the Republic are safe. All we request from the public is that they must indeed be kind to our law enforcement officers. Let us give them the support that they need. Let us show them kindness. Let us not make their job to be difficult. And Merry Christmas to them.
And a Merry Christmas Day to SAPU National Spokesperson Lesiba Thobakgale, speaking out against the 10 members of the Western Cape Anti-Gang Unit who have been denied bail.